Let it go. Let it go. Brian Cashman eventually gotta let it go. It was 2017. Your team didn't score any runs in Houston. Let it go. Let it go. And Pedro Leon went down to AAA for now. We'll see what happens later. And then what's going on with the bullpen? We'll talk about this and more on this episode of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
Well, they can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. The Astros won 2017 fair and square. Always Stros. Give Eric the night off one night, and he turns into karaoke guy.
Well, I'm probably going karaokeing tomorrow with my girlfriend, so I'm trying to get my pipes loosened up, and I was just making that up, and I was just going up with the Brian Cashman needs to just let it go.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
real.
get over yourself already. I mean, it just that was like what? How many years ago now? What?
5 years ago. Yeah, and I've got some definite thoughts on that after our little intro here.
All right. So, yeah, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Keep on subscribing. Our numbers are going up. Give us a like. The likes help us as well. And on your way to work, on your way home to work, just listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make us a part of your day and make us your first listen in the morning. So, yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. There was no game on Thursday, but there was a lot of news. Pedro Leon got sent to AAA. This is something I think you and Mike Stanton addressed on yesterday's show. And there's some other news talking about what's going on in the bullpen. Josh James was also optioned as well. This was a guy who was fighting for a bullpen. So we'll address that later. But the big elephant in the room is that the Yankees, the Yankees fans, the Yankees in general, they just can't let that 2017 go. And we'll never forget that, going through the Red Sox, then going through the Yankees, then going through the Dodgers to the first Astros World Series. Yes, we know the aftermath. We know what happened after that. We know what Mike Fiers brought to light. We understand that. So we'll see what happens. But I'll read part of it, and you can read the rest of it. But basically, he, in a interview with The Athletic, Brian Cashman said the only thing that stopped us was something so illegal and horrific. So I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009, because I'm like, well, I think we actually did it the right way. We pulled it down, brought it back up. We drafted well. We traded well. We developed well. We signed well. The only thing that derailed us was cheating circumstances that threw us off, and that dog and those kids.
And that, wait, hold on. Does it say in that dog and those kids?
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Scooby-Doo.
So, for those of y'all watching, here is the actual paragraph where he says, so I get offended when I start hearing this. We haven't been to World Series since 2009. Here's the deal. Brian Cashman is on the hot seat. Let's make no bones about it. He is in a win-now scenario. They didn't treat the offseason like they were in a win-now scenario. And it looks desperate. Now, this isn't just my opinion. This is the opinion of several Yankees fans that follow me on Twitter that I follow back as well. We're mutual, or I guess we're Twitter friends, I guess that's a thing. I've never met them in real life, but they say, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, why would you as the GM just be this curmudgeon about 2017? I can't tell you how many Yankees fans I talk to on a daily basis, on the regular, that say, I don't even care about 2017 anymore. I just want my club to get better. I just want the Yankees to get better. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We all know the Astros cheated. Everybody knows they cheated, but they didn't invent cheating. And, Brian Cashman's playing to a fan majority, maybe that's out there or that he hears. And I think he's trying to do it to gain sympathy. He's in a contract year. So he's going to do what he can to get the fans on his side. He's going to fight for his Yankees, kind of like the manager saying, there's savages in the box. There's savages in the box. Okay, that's great. The bottom line is this. And Eric, I'm just going to read this off for those of y'all that are not on Twitter because I think it is
Actually, I think
apropos.
I want to read the rest of it. I'm doing such a good
No,
job
no,
reading
I'm not. No, no,
his
I'm
quotes.
no, not his quotes. I'm talking about what what I wanted to educate
Okay.
Mr. Cashman on. Number one, the Yankees scored 3 runs in 4 games in Houston. Sign stealing had nothing to do with that. Fact number two, the Yankees scored 19 runs at home versus 4 runs on the road. So who's using something to steal signs? Who's cheating now? And the Astros only scored more than 4 runs in 1 game. The Yankees scored more than 4 runs in 3 games, and they were all in Yankee Stadium. And how many swings and misses did they have on that curveball from Lance McCullers? I mean, here's your sign. The guy's throwing a curveball. Hit the damn ball. So get over yourselves, Yankees. The last World Series championship that I look, there were up to 9 players who were later caught using PEDs. So if you want to bring cheating into the picture, then you got to bring if it's a gunfight, you got to bring a gun. You can't bring a knife to a gunfight. Okay. You can't have a stone like a glass house and throw stones. You got to realize that your backyard's just as dirty as ours. So this is old. What else did Cashman say? I think I need to educate Mr. Cashman.
All right. So he said, he goes on, he keeps on repeating the same thing. It does bother me when people say, we haven't been to the World Series since '09. We did it all right by building it to a certain level that could have gotten us back to a World Series, if not for something else. But hey, we're back at it. Every year, we're still back at it, man. We're still qualifying for the postseason, and we're going to take this team as far as we can get it. And hopefully we
AO,
can push through. We can do it,
AODS game
man.
loss. No, I'm sorry. No, wild card game loss. Is that as far as you can get it? Right? I mean, what is it like? I mean, look, Eric, 2019, we beat them. 2017, we beat them. 2019, they brought up the buzzers. You know why? They probably got someone in the sky. They probably got a drone or something looking down in their stadium. They're like, hey, we use buzzers. Maybe they use them too. It's just at this point, it is like it's not funny anymore. It's just stupid. It's low hanging fruit. And it's like champions, you know what they do? They look at their own success. They
Yeah.
don't look at someone else who's winning. I mean, and we've only won one title. Everyone's like, well, but if they hadn't done the cheating all season long, maybe they wouldn't have been in the playoffs against the Yankees.
Well,
So
well,
you're
well,
telling me Verlander,
right.
Springer, Correa, Altuve, Bregman, all those guys that year that were on that team had nothing to do with them getting there? That's bullcrap. And if you believe that, I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona I want to sell you.
Yeah, well, what they say about the Rockets, if Jordan didn't retire when he did, the Rockets wouldn't have won the
No, don't even get me
championship.
started. They would
All
have
right, no, no.
smoked Jordan those 2 years.
All right, so he goes on to continue. People are like, "Oh, we haven't been to a World Series." ... Yeah, I don't think that's a true statement as it could be. We've had a World Series team, and either you get it done or you don't.
Mhm.
People don't want to hear it. I get it, but that's real to me, and I think it's real to all of us.
Now, I will say this. I know you're doing this for dramatic effect, but Rosenthal does outline in the article that he wasn't teeming with rage when he was making these statements.
Right.
So Eric is a belt. So we're not reporting false news here, but it makes it more fun to read this because it's a bunch of bull crap. It's a bunch of bularchy, as we say. I don't even know what bularchy was. We just used to say that growing up. It's a bunch of cow manure. It's a bunch of minutia. It's a bunch of shit. That's what it is. It's bullcrap. Let it go. Like get over yourselves. Yankees, here's a thought. Maybe in the offseason, do something other than signing Josh Donaldson. Like bring up your guy
Traded
Volpe,
for Josh Johnson.
bring up Jason Dominguez, bring up these guys that are so bad A and do something. Like what
Get a
like
Built Bar, maybe.
dude, it's about dang time. See, I don't even think the Yankees would have been helped by a Built Bar. I mean, Cole looks so bad. Obviously, he was injured or something. But here's the thing: Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar in the land. They not just have Built Bars wrapped in 100% chocolate. They have Built Puffs. They are a marshmallowy treat. They are a protein infused marshmallow covered in 100% real chocolate, just like their bars. They have churro. They have coconut marshmallow. They have banana cream pie. They have mint. They have, oh my gosh, I can't even name them all. It's amazing. And everyone I get, they've got brownie batter puffs. Oh my gosh, they're to die for. So I look forward to every day when I have a snack or when I'm right before I go to the gym and I need one of these things. I look forward to consuming this. Why? Because it's not going to destroy my diet. Most built bars and built puffs have between 130 and 160 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to any candy bar, usually with 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, dozens of net carbs. Why would you do that to yourself? Mint brownie, coconut almond, white chocolate cookies and cream, and more. Go to built.com and use the promo code LOCK15 for 50% off your order. Use the promo code LOCK15 for 50% off at built.com.
Hey, Brian Cashman, keep the Astros out of your freaking mouth.
I thought you were about to drop the F bomb. The first time Eric drops the F bomb on the air. Now, you need to save that for a special moment, okay? We've got to find a time this year to throw that in there. No, I'm joking. So let's do this. I think we've said enough about Cashman. Let's
Yeah, I
move
know.
on. 12 minutes into the show. No, no more Cashman, no more Yankees talk. They hate us because they ain't us.
All right.
So
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 something I really wanted to talk about, but I think you and Mike Stanton talked about
yes,
yesterday was Dusty Baker is like super high on Pedro Leon all of a sudden. And I kind of did some more digging. Yesterday I went to the Rockets game and today I found out a little bit more why Dusty Baker's a little bit more higher than on Pedro Leon because he's been there since February. And so
yeah.
he's seen all these young kids while the rest of the coaches kind of came a little bit later. So what he's seen is he's seen this guy have a complete. He has all the tools. He
Mhm.
may not have a lot of minor league experience yet, but he said that this guy can be a legit player. And so he said that this guy is going to be up soon, and he feels like. I mean, he said in all likelihood he is ticketed. No, he said you impressed us big time, and he called him a fast riser. And I know Leon said that shortstop is newer to me, but we're going to continue working at it, learning new things every single day. In reality, I do feel a lot more comfortable there. Obviously, they want me to work at shortstop. So last year I played a lot more there just to develop there a little bit better. Mostly it's going to be a decision where we leave up to organization to see where I get to help out. So you remember how he kind of struggled a little bit offensively last year? It's probably just getting used to the American culture, then just living in a different country. Also, probably just playing a different position.
You talking about Pedro Leon?
Yeah,
Yeah, so again, he's only had 72 games that he's played professionally. There was no way this guy was going to be on the opening day
right.
roster. So McTaggart or whoever was like lamenting that or considering that was just like reporter speak because there's no like who even Julio Rodriguez, who is the top prospect in all of baseball with the Mariners, still isn't on the opening day roster. Spencer Torkelson's not on the opening day roster. Bobby Witt Jr. isn't on the opening day roster. These guys
He's
are
not.
far. No, they are not advanced as far as these as Pedro Leon is not advanced as far as these. Pedro Leon needs time. Now, I have heard for a while now from people that I talk to that are close to the Astros, people that study their minor league system. Pedro Leon is their center fielder of the future, and make no bones about it. I don't know what Jake Meyers' future is with the Astros. I don't know that it's long term. I'll just be real honest. I love Jake Meyers. I think he's a great player. I think he's going to be a very good major leaguer one day. But their eyes are on Pedro Leon. So he will get a call up. But Mike Stanton didn't see him coming up, and I agreed with him up until September. Here's the thing, there's no need to rush him. Why would you rush a guy that only has 72 games under his belt professionally? And he missed about a year and a half of competitive baseball. That would be like that would be almost like what they did to Jared Kelnick up in Seattle. What did they do? They brought him up and he basically failed.
Right.
I mean, he looked terrible, and this guy's confidence has gone way down. Mark McGwire, they wrote an athletic article about him. Mark McGwire talked about how his swing was all jacked up, and and I mean his fielding is terrible, and yet he was this can't miss guy. So you don't want to bring a guy like Pedro Leon up and set him up for failure. He needs to marinate. AAA Sugarland is the perfect place for him to because there's so many good players in this AAA league that that the Space Cowboys see on a daily basis. So I think Pedro Leon fits perfectly in Sugarland. You let him get confidence, running around the field, getting the bat on the ball because he's already doing it in spring training. Come September, bring that kid up. And if he's smoking the ball enough and if he earns a spot, maybe he leapfrogs Siri on a playoff roster. You know what I'm saying? Because you could use him on the base pass. You could use him in center field. He can play short if you need him to. So you do have options for him other than one position. And Eric, I love this kid. I think he's great. And I think Dusty, hey, what is the first thing he did when he started wearing pants? He saw Pedro Leon play, right? Remember? He was like, I haven't worn pants since November
Oh, okay.
when he got to camp. And so that was one of the first things he saw. He's like, man, I got my pants on, I got my jersey on. Who's this? Who is this kid? Oh my God, he's good. And so make no bones about it, Chas McCormick has a ton of pressure on him. Chas McCormick has a ton of pressure on him in center field because he's really holding a place right now for Myers. Myers may be holding a place for Pedro Leon. There's going to be a battle for center field.
Right.
Jose Siri is going to make it. Jose Siri is going to do something big this year. He's going to have a key hit. He's going to have a key going from first to home, things like that. I think center field is an exciting position for the Astros, even though it's lacking a ton of experience.
Yeah, I know Dusty Baker was talking about Jose Siri. He says that he gets a little bit erratic, a little bit. He gets a little bit. He plays out of control a little bit sometimes. And we all remember when George Springer first came up. I was part of an interview with AJ Hinch, and what they had to do was they had to teach George Springer how to run into a wall, because he kept on injuring himself when he ran into the wall, because he plays with that much like energy. He's just like, I'm gonna go get it. And so and we were like, well, don't you mean how not to hit the wall? They're like, no, he's that type of player where you have to teach him how to go do that.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's like in football, Eric. It's like with tackling. I mean, if you don't teach a football player how to properly form tackle, they hurt themselves, and especially if they're big and strong. And that makes sense, Eric, because if you watch you watch some minor leaguers go, like there's that classic clip of the minor leaguer going through the wall, and the wall like opens up because it's like swinging on this bar that's behind it, and he goes through the wall and he just hits that wood hardcore. You do have to learn how to absorb, how to look, how to protect yourself. It's almost like being a defensive boxer where when you punch, you have to roll with your shoulders blocking your face so you don't get hit on that side. Same thing with going to center field, looking for that wall, knowing where it is, the warning track, when to jump. Outfield is definitely, outfield as a little leaguer, and you probably remember this growing up playing baseball. That's where you put all the players that weren't great. But outfield, when you get to big boy ball, is the most important positions on the field, really.
right. So so Baker said that Siri does have an aggressive style and it does lend to mistakes. So he's gonna go out there, overrun a ball, misplay a ball. He's gonna make some errors on the base path. But Baker said it don't scare me. I'd rather have a little bit of wildness and calm him down. I would put then I would put some wildness in somebody. That's how I feel. This guy, he has a lot of talent. And Siri said, I've always played this way. Since I began playing baseball, and no, I don't think there's anything that should change. That's what's gotten me here.
And okay, I mean, yes, I agree, but if you're going to grow as a player,
Right.
anybody knows in any profession, sometimes you have to tweak some things. Yeah, I mean, pitchers are always changing their mechanics.
Right.
Pitchers are always toying with stuff. Now, what Siri is saying, I think the heart of what I hear him saying is, I'm not going to be less aggressive
Right.
because they don't want me to get hurt. But he definitely has to be open to the coaching where, dude,
I
you don't need to go full bore into the
I
wall.
don't think it's the him being aggressive that they're talking about. I think or getting hurt. I think it's the fact that I don't know if you remember the game last year. It was towards the end of the season. He just totally misplayed a ball and
He
it got
misjudged
by
it.
him
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
misjudged it, and it was a 2-run double error or something. And
And the only
every
thing
other
that's going to help, the only thing that's going to help Siri is repetition,
yeah.
repetition, repetition.
And yeah, so and I think that one time I remember Baker saying, "Well, yeah, I mean that was a bad mistake, but he's still young. He's going to learn from these mistakes." So
See, here to me, this is what hurts Siri this season. Jake Myers' injury. Because if Jake Myers is healthy, you've got Jake Myers and you got Chas McCormick. If you have that, you can put Siri back in center field in Sugarland and let him get those reps on a daily basis. I know Pedro Leon is down there, but he would get more playing time. You've got to get Siri on the field. Like, if that's the problem, you can't just tell him in practice and like hit him Funko, um, you know, um, you know, hit the fungo bat to, like, out to outfield. And
it sounds like you're betting on Chas McCormick on being opening day or the everyday center fielder until Jake Myers gets back, and that's the problem. That's why there's that little buzz about Pedro Leon making the opening day roster
well,
because neither one has. I
but
know it's
Leon, right?
Red. You're not listening. That was what the buzz was about because neither one of the two had actually proved anything yet. So yeah, that was an outside chance, but that was kind of a message being sent to Dusty Baker saying, "Hey guys, y'all need to step it up because
Oh
neither
no, I get
Siri
that.
or Chas McCormick have really impressed." Yes, Chas McCormick had a 2-hit game the other day, but before that, he struck out 7 out of 9 plate appearances.
To
So
me, yeah.
yeah,
To
so
me, go
you're
ahead.
betting on the fact that Chas McCormick is the everyday center fielder. Speaking of betting, let's talk about Bet Online.
After months of playing college basketball, they have determined the top teams for the Final Four, and they will determine this year's national champion this week. So check out betonline.net, your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. For all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. BetOnline remains the best spot for all the latest sports developments, including podcasts and reviews for all leagues this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information needs, including live betting in your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, one of the things that I want to touch on, Eric, before we move on from this is, and I wasn't like trying to argue with you about that, but I was just saying that even with that being said, that is a lot of times a coach lighting a fire under somebody's what to say, look, Pedro Leon looks really good, and he's getting if you guys don't get it together, this dude's just going to come up here and take your job. And Chas McCormick's swing. I'm not a hitting coach, so I don't know how much I want to get into this right now, and I'm not. But his swing, he swings under the ball almost every time. He's got a natural uppercut swing. He's got to flatten the swing out. Now, I personally, off the top of my head, don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to instruct him on that. But the hitting coaches, somebody's got to see that because every time he strikes out, it's always down, under, and going up. And when the bat goes up, the ball's already past him. So he's got to fix that. When he hits the ball, dude, he can absolutely mash. This guy's got power and he's got speed. He's got a glove. He's not a bad player. He's not in a great situation, where he doesn't have the favoritism of the GM. He doesn't have favoritism of the coach. And I mean, let's just face it. He's kind of getting the short end of the stick. He's got to overperform and outperform his expectations for him to have any success right now.
Yeah, and the weird thing is there's only 4 games left in spring training, and then it's
That's right.
like
I
2
know.
days off, and then it's opening day. Wow, it's almost here. It's crazy to think
I'm
how
so
short
excited.
short the season is, and this preseason is, because April 7th is what, 7 days away now.
Yeah.
So it's crazy just to think how short this spring training was. And before we get into the bullpen, just looking at some of the pitching, like Justin Verlander has thrown 8 2/3 innings. Hunter Brown has thrown 5 2/3 inning. Farmer Valdez has thrown 3 innings. You have the second starter. I'm sure you talked about that yesterday.
Hmm.
How many innings has he thrown? Where is he? Is he on the second
Odorizzi.
page? Is he really on the second page?
Well, here's the
Jake
thing.
Odorizzi has thrown 2 innings.
Okay, but you know why they're throwing Jake Odorizzi, right? He has very good numbers against the Angels. They're going left, right. I mean, they're going left, right, aren't they? They're alternating the arms on the mound. Is that correct? Is that what they're doing? Because Framber throws what?
Left, but Verlander is not a lefty. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. So they're not going. So I'm going to scratch that from the audio. Um, So you have someone brought this up. He has very good numbers, like a 128 batting average against from the Angels. So
yeah,
that's why he's starting second. He's your veteran. You're paying him. And they need Justin Verlander to start that third game to be ready. Okay.
yeah, give him
And
extra
again,
day rest. Yeah.
yeah. And like everybody says, hey, it doesn't really matter. It's one game, like you had mentioned. Opening day is opening day. It's one game and you're done. And I think Luis Garcia going last is a phenomenal tail end of that rotation because he's so good, and Urquidy slotted in there where he is. I think is good.
He's the underdog. I think that Luis Garcia is kind of the underdog of the Astros rotation. He's better than everybody thinks, and if he's facing your number 5 guy, then
He
that's
is. I mean,
good.
he was the runner up. He was the best rookie pitcher last year. B, he was the runner up. Because was it Randy Rosarina who won the Rookie of the Year over
I
him?
believe so.
I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
remember.
wait, wasn't this guy rookie twice in a row or something? I don't know. Like I
No,
didn't.
he
I didn't.
only played like I
Okay,
don't know.
did he
No,
not?
I don't
He
think
didn't
he
have
even
enough
played.
games.
Yeah,
He did. I think he did play, but he played in the 2020 playoffs.
well, yeah,
He
he
still
played
was
in
hitting home runs,
playoffs, but I don't think
but
he
he
played in the
did not
regular
play.
season.
Yeah, he has to have so many games under his
Right.
belt to qualify. But yeah, no, I was just kind of joking. Like, wait, wasn't this guy already a rookie? Like, how did he win? You
Yeah.
know, Luis Garcia got screwed like that. Christian Javier got screwed like that. But at the end of the day, Eric, I think this rotation sets up nicely. Um, I think I think the I think the bullpen has more pressure on them though than than the starting rotation because the bullpen you don't have a ton of left arms. You're counting on guys to do stuff that maybe you haven't seen them do, and you hope Matana is the same. You hope Stanek is better. Presley's more than likely going to be on point. So your back end, I think, is great. It's just what you're going to do in the middle, where you're going to slot them in, and we'll just have to see. If the starters give them 5 innings, it helps a lot. But if the starters don't go long, that's when it becomes a big time chess match.
All right. So, as we mentioned in the beginning of the show, Josh James was optioned down. It was more of he's kind of bouncing back from an injury, and they want him to kind of develop more. He's going to be up at some point this season. He didn't have a terrible spring, but it was a shortened spring. He didn't have enough time to really build up a lot of innings. So that leaves 11 potential relievers on the 40-man roster for the Astros. And keep in mind that Dusty Baker would like to have 2 lefty relievers, even though Matan can kind of count as a lefty reliever. But let me kind of tell you the stats for Adam Morgan in 2 innings and a 1.2, in 2 games, 1.2 innings pitch. He's allowed 3 earned runs on 5 hits with 1 strikeouts. He has a 3 whip and allowing a 500 batting average. So then you have Zach Roskup. He has pitched in 3 games. He has a 3 ERA. His whip is 1.00, and his batting opponents are batting 167 against him. So if you were asking me which one of those 2 guys would, based on spring training stats alone, which one of these guys would make the opening day roster, I would say Ross Cup, but then you have to look at what they've done in the past as well. And so I would say that Adam Morgan may have the better career ERA with the 2.51 career ERA compared to Ross Cup. I'm looking it up right now, which is 4.17. So it just depends on which one Dusty Baker goes with.
Yeah. Now, Adam Morgan doesn't make this roster, period, in the story. There's no way this side of heaven or hell that he makes this team. I don't, why would he make it? He's been terrible. I mean,
Well, it's
he's been
not
terrible.
just based on spring training. If you're a veteran like this guy.
Okay. But you got Presley, Stanek, Matan, Tate, Montero, Baez, Javier, and they didn't even bring in Martinez. He's already been optioned, so it's got to be Roscoe. Okay, so what? Hold on, I just need you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have relief pitchers. Odorizzi is listed as a relief pitcher on Fangraphs, but we know he's a starter. P. Francis gone. They have him listed. McCullers isn't there. I would think
Montero
Roscoe,
hasn't pitched. He's out.
Okay.
Montero has not pitched yet. Unless
Okay.
he pitches in the next 4 games and they're like,
Okay.
oh, you're good.
Okay. Well, I just don't see I just don't see Morgan making it. I mean, I would be really shocked if he made it.
So you're
really
going
shocked.
at Ross Cup?
Of course, because I mean, yeah,
Well, you're not going to 3 lefties. We're not going to 3 lefties. So it's just
okay. Who's your third lefty? You got Taylor.
No. We're not going to 3. I didn't say that. No, it's either one or the other. So Taylor is your first lefty, and
you
then
have one lefty,
right?
You don't have another lefty. You have Matan.
Right.
He's not a lefty though. He's a reverse split guy. Okay, so you have 2. Right. Yeah. He's a reverse split guy.
Right.
So basically, he's a lefty. So you're saying they're not going to go with 3 lefties?
They're not going to go with 3 actual lefties, is what I'm saying. So
no, I didn't say they were. I didn't say they were. I said Ross Cup and Taylor are the only 2 lefties that I would think would that do make it.
Yeah. So that would I know that Presley. I mean, there's some names that are definitely going to make it. So the case could be made for Brandon Bielak. He's had a bad spring training, but at the same time, he's
been toast, man.
But one of the things about Brandon Bielak is he can go multiple innings. He could be another long reliever for like Christian Javier. But at the same time, can you count on him? And the other question mark is Pedro Baez. His velocity is very scary. I don't know if you talked to Mike Stanton about Pedro Baez, but
no,
I meant to ask you to talk about that, but I just totally forgot about that. But Baez his velocity is down again this year, so that he's question mark if he's even going to make the roster.
Baez is looking like a really bad signing at this point. I mean, there's no 2 bones about it. Baez was not a good signing, period. Montero, I'm not even sold on this kid. He hasn't even pitched yet.
Well, I know, but not for opening day, but for the season.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, yeah, I know. I just, the big question mark for this team is the bullpen. And there is more pressure on them to perform than the starters. I think the starters are going to be fine. I think they're healthy. I think Framber's going to pitch out of his mind on opening day. He's going to look really good. He's going to go in there with a lot of confidence. Then I think Odorizzi, here's the thing. Odorizzi's got no pressure because there's not a single person with the right mind unless people are super analytical. Some people that I talked to, they said, look, Odorizzi this, or give me all these like technical stats and things that I don't really pay attention to just because I don't really have time to dig super deep into it. Other people do. Good for you. But Odorizzi doesn't really have a lot of pressure because no one's really expecting him to go out there and pitch an amazing game. Now, I think because he's a veteran, there are people expecting him to do well. But Eric, he's not a number 2 guy. The guy's a number 3 guy at best. He's not a 1 or a 2 in a rotation, period. He's not. Odorizzi's not a 1 or 2 guy. He's there because they need to give Justin Verlander that rest for him to be on that 3rd day. They don't want to throw him out the first 2 games. And his numbers against the Angels make sense. But there's nothing about Odorizzi that makes him a number 2 guy for me. He's not an ace, and he's not a number 2 guy. He's a 3 or 4 guy at best. And I think that's where he best fits overall in the long run.
All right. So, yeah. And he's only thrown 2 innings this spring training so far. So I don't know how long he's
Well,
even going
he's
to
probably
go.
thrown more than that. He's probably thrown a
Yeah.
lot of simulated games. Yeah, they're
Right.
not throwing these guys out there without getting. They've got innings under their belt. They just might not have live game innings. I
Right.
think they're really running through these young guys because they wanted to see where they were with the young guys and like how far they could push them and stuff. So
Speaking of a young guy, some guy that's been making some waves at camp is Ronel Blanco. They signed him at 22 years old out of the Dominican Republic, and he's been looking really good this spring. I think I've got stats right here. In like 4 innings, he's got a 0 ERA. His WHIP is 0.69. He has 7 strikeouts in the 4 and 1/2 innings pitched. This guy has really made a name for himself. So it I don't know if he's going to make it, but if Pedro Baez is acting is going to be weird, then or if he's not really great, then we'll see if this kid can make the open day roster. But I don't know.
no, he's only 22. I don't see someone like Ronel Blanco making it just because he is so young, Eric. I think the promise is there, and I think someone like him will be someone who can be there, who can help during the season. Um, but I would be shocked if he made it just because of his age and a young pitcher. You don't want to bring a pitcher too far along, too quick, too fast. Hey, if he's ready, and they're like, hey, 4 days from now, they're like, you know what? Let's just put this kid out there. He's
He's
ready. He's
he's
good.
not on the 40-man roster though.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Then he won't be out there opening day. They're not going to move. Who are they going to take off the 40-man roster for him?
Oh wait, hold on. I'm looking at the active rosters. Hold on 1 second. Um, you can talk. No, I don't think he's on the active. He's not. Yeah, so he's not on 40-man roster either.
Okay, yeah. So he won't. So yeah, he probably marinates an entire season in the minor leagues. I don't even know where he's going to be. Is he going to be AAA? Is he going to be AA?
I'm pretty sure he's gonna be in AAA, especially if he's performing this well. They're gonna want to see where he was, how he's doing. Um, so we'll see. I don't know. We can go in. I think he finished last year with the triple A team. Yeah. So we'll see what it
Oh,
goes. But
okay. So
that's
he was
all.
in Sugarland last year, is what you're saying.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Well, if he was in Sugarland last year, then yeah, I mean, Minute Maid Park is a definite like possibility. But if he rolls up to that roster, you have to knock somebody off. And who are you going to take off in place of him?
Right. And keep in mind that Lance McCullers will be going off the 40-man roster if you do put him on the 60-day IL. But we'll see if they even do that because I don't know how long how long he'll be. So he was in Sugarland last year. He had a 5-3 record with a 3.40 ERA with 42 games. He had where's strikeouts, 57 strikeouts and 45 innings pitched. So he does have the experience in the PCL. So
Now Blanco is okay. Ronel Blanco, I thought he was 22. He's only 20. He's 28.
yeah, he's 28.
Okay,
No,
for
they
some
signed
reason.
him when he was 22.
Oh, they signed him. Okay, I read the notes wrong. Okay, so he's 28. He's Rule 5 eligible this year.
Right.
He was one of the non-roster invitees. So yeah,
Right.
they don't. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. I mean, he could be a wild card. Looking at that, I don't really see him playing into the roster much this year.
All right. Hey, guys, enjoy your last weekend before opening day. It's coming. It's a week from today, Thursday. Hey, can you believe that? It's a week from today. And so we got some exciting stuff coming up with the Locked On Astros podcast. So stay tuned in. Make sure you keep on subscribing to us. Make sure you keep on making us your first listen every day. And listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast and go Stros.